We're actually going to be spectating v56 versus MVP. Let me actually see if they played each other before. I don't think they have. MVP versus V4F, MVP versus Plexit, MVP versus someone over here. So the reason we're watching this is because currently v56 is stuck in number 3. If they lose this matchup against MVP, who have been at the tail of all these games, they're just on that precipice of becoming a really strong team, but they did drop, I think, one of their important matchups against Plixplax. So v56 is actually in the 3rd place on the standings, which means if they lose this and Plixplax wins, which they are going against Taggers, well, it'll be a hard one, but it might actually just keep the same spots. So maybe not. But it's a close game. I think it'll be close. And that's why we're watching this, because that's what I want. Find a 5th path. We do not accept your 5th. Please forfeit win for us. Oh man. What is going on here?
I think MVP doesn't have a 5th or something.
I'll play.
No. Sorry, Pixel. According to the rules, you are not allowed to play. You are not considered a qualified player because you are a member of the staff team and you are not allowed to play. Actually, let me go look.
I can't hear you when I'm in my EV.
Positive ties. Oh, substitution rule. Oh, you have to go look elsewhere. It's not here.
The only time they can not accept a 5th is if it's the person that's already played, right? That was
anybody on active teams. There was also one small thing, which is why I'm looking at the rule. I don't think staff can play when the event starts.
To be fair, looking at these teams,
qualified players are those who are on an active team or staff for the duration of the tournament. So you can't use staff members.
Go to spectate quickly, Depot, otherwise you're going to start the server. Cool.
And actually, the substitution rule, they have to find somebody who's not on any of these teams, and they can't use anybody from the teams who are barred either. So it does kind of make it hard to get a 5th, but...
Oh, they got Crowder. That's a bit strong, that's strong.
The universal sub. He helped us get to
I'm not keen on that, this is going to imbalance this so much.
Hey, Chow.
Well...
Nothing we can do about it. I'm not saying we should, but...
I don't think he will make all the world's difference.
He's left.
Especially not if he's not in the server.
Where's he going?
Pokeball was incredibly ineffective.
That's not good. You lost him. You lost Crowder. Well, if you had to pick your matchup, because what's actually happening with the Swiss round robin, I think the rest of the matches start getting kind of harder and harder to balance, because basically this is about as close as you get in terms of being even, but it's starting to reach down into basically the bottom end of the list, because you can't replay matches until I think you have to go through all 7 opponents or 6 opponents.
Yeah.
So. Kind of nice that by the 7th round, I think there's a potential for a repeat, but it'll only do it if it needs to break a tie. And I think this is actually one of those matchups that are settling future ties. Because I think if you look back at the histories, v56 have won and lost quite a few matches, and MVP have kind of been all over the place too. It's going to depend on what their opponents who they won against and lost against do. What actually determines who's staying in the 3rd place and whether MVP can kind of bring themselves back into 4th. I think there's a chance as long as they win here and they win against their next opponent, it might be enough points to move MVP down far enough to where, or it might be enough to put v56 down and move MVP up. It's complicated. It's an algorithm, right? Is it Train Yard again? Is that what we're playing?
Looks like it may be.
Will be shortly.
You made the rules, Bitey. What are we playing? Are we playing Train Yard? Are we going to cast
No,
this?
we're
Are
not
we
playing
going to go
Train
for
Yard. I'm pretty sure we only played Train Yard once. Hey, look.
it? People on the wrong teams as well.
Bridge. And then change that. Oh, I gotta log in. And
So Bridge got a potential for quite a long match, quite a decent match. I'm actually enjoying Bridge now more with the recent changes to the rule set, with the draws being available, because it used to be really frustrating on the last objective to just grind that out. But yeah, I do like Bridge, actually. I used to hate it. I used to despise this map so much. But I'm slowly getting used to it. I still can't wait for Bridge ult to come back, if it ever comes back.
all right, now we are set where we need to be set. I guess I am the official ref here. I need to be aware when Deeper's here, I'm reffing, so it'll be all right. And I'm kind of excited. I think that both teams have a shot of actually winning this out, and probably even a small possibility of a draw. That's a little bit down the road if anybody can get past first objective, but I think here we go. v56 versus MVP. A pretty important match for both teams, as it'll decide who gets to hold on to the third and fourth placings.
And interestingly, we got Crowder straight onto the engineer, the person who is actually subbing for the guys over at... Is that MVP? I can't remember.
I believe that is MVP's team, yes.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to follow from Crowder, because I want to see what kind of position he wants to attack from. It looks like they're going to do a 3-man onto the bridge and probably 2 men from underneath. Actually getting positions up on the bridge now. The defense seems to be fairly standard right now. And we haven't actually got a fragger on the defense, which is something that we do see quite a lot in the American teams, but it's not really transitioned over to EU all that much. Crowder's dropping down. He's going to go for a quick couple of repairs, or is he going to go for a fight? It looks like he's going for a fight. He does get taken out by Panda, but he's instantly revived. He's going to get the flank onto Panda. Is he going to be able to take... He takes out 2. He's going to be able to get the repair up, and based on the times, it's looking promising. Crowder, what are you doing, son? Just get the repair on. Don't waste any more time. There you go. The defenders are coming back in. Going to try and retake this, but it's looking really good right now.
Push. I don't think they can safely recover this. Anger got the big grenade. That is the all-in for it, and I think that's a save. But there's a
another great res though.
Ran in. The gift does come out, but that thing is pretty close. I think they can finish it.
Did anyone else notice that turret appeared to be glitched? It fought nobody. It just carried on looking forward. Eyes straight.
Well, I saw it fight someone.
Anything. Did you see it fight somebody?
I heard it shoot some bullets.
It shot some bullets, yeah.
There we go. The first objective was taken in a really impressive time, and it's looking really good for the guys over at MVP right now. We're actually seeing the barricade go up already, maybe a little bit early, because now they can start getting a bit of damage onto that and actually just blow it up when needed. But
ooh, that airstrike, what was that for? Kinda threw it really early and didn't get anything out of it. I don't know if that was...
I think he meant to throw it into the doorway, into the house, use it as a grenade,
too.
but it bounced off.
That airstrike, okay, that's even worse. You know, the difference between a bad offensive airstrike and a bad defensive one. That was not good.
So you've got
now
no
we have an
damage
EV that's just going to keep rolling
onto the barricade yet. I'm surprised that we've actually seen Karna switch out to that nade and going into position to actually throw some nades onto that objective. Looks like he might get taken out by a Skyhammer and waste a couple of grenades on getting that kill. Doesn't matter, time's still on their side. Shoots the frag on the side of the head and kills himself. Bit of an embarrassing play right there, and the EV's already in position and there's no damage on that objective up until now, so it's not looking all that efficient right now for the guys over at MVP.
Whoops. A little bit of a missed grenade right there, but I think this is going to be a pretty standard, just siege the room and blow it up. Kind of does get
I'm not gonna lie though, Crowder has been on the business end of about 4 or 5 amazing reses in the past 3 minutes.
Yeah, the Undead Sparks is doing an awful lot of good work there. Just dodging around, not bothering too much about fighting, just making sure that the revives come out. That said, he does manage to get a nice headshot kill onto Chilex. Some nades coming out onto that generator again, putting as much damage as possible onto it, but it looks like it's still going to be a few seconds. It doesn't look like it's too damaged at this point. Yeah, like, they could be more efficient at doing this. Just throw everything you've got at it, guys. It's all you need to do.
Yeah,
all your bullets,
the weird
everything.
thing is why is Kana fighting when he should just be sitting, you know,
Yeah.
you siege this room. You don't actually fight in it. I like to just think of it as like a big siege, and now they're actually going to lose their EV. Which, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but we saw it earlier when Tag did the hold against, was it MVP, I think? And they just couldn't get anywhere because the EV was broken, and they just kind of set up shop and held him forever.
Kana's back in position. Going to throw some grenades onto there. Looks like it's getting close. It's showing signs of destruction, but it's still a good few grenades off, it looks like.
I think it's going to blow up here. Well, they got to shoot it first.
We're seeing Undead and the Fragger on that team just not dying at all. Just managing to cause mass hassle.
I'll
Sparks
figure when you
finally
say that,
gets down.
the fight starts falling.
There we go,
Gucci,
the generator
look
has
at
been
that.
blown.
They're repairing the EV right now.
I think this is an area where it's like
Interrupted.
they really screwed up with that extension on the Fragger and the Sparks being too far forward and then losing an important fight. And then they get put onto long spawn, and now the engineer died off that too. So they're kind of back to square one. I mean, yeah, it's just a repair of the EV, but we saw that happen before, and MVP couldn't get that thing moving.
I mean, let's not take it away from MVP right now. They've done an amazing push so far. They've actually managed to get the first objective done in a really good time. So we're not saying that they're doing anything like tremendously bad. It's just there is so much more efficiency to actually be placed into this strategy eventually. And it's a little bit of a shame because they've actually given the defenders a good couple of minutes that they didn't need to give them. There was no excuse for it taking this long. They was in good enough position to be able to kill that generator much faster than what they have done. And right now, this engineer Crowder is getting taken down at every opportunity, and the defenders have actually held this for another couple of minutes, and it's looking good for them all of a sudden. A nice sneaky airstrike. Is it going to pick up any players? No, they are going to wait for it.
So, I mean, it's kind of the same position MVP have been in before. And I just hope that they had the realization, like, all they got to do is just take their real time and make sure they take it smart. And then they can win this fight. You know, Ali's coming up real slow. The Hell Station doing a lot of work, but I think they could finally have the opening. Oh, but revives. I mean, we saw this versus Tag, where they just got stuck here for much longer than they should have, and I'm just hoping they see that solution come up so they don't waste more time than they need to here.
Crowder takes that Skyhammer. He's going for the kill. He could be going for the repair now. As long as they move it forward, like even a couple of steps, they could have done something, but he gave away his position, and that's really cost him right there. He just needs to really focus on just suiciding into that EV a couple of spawns, and he can have that done, providing he can survive a while. If he just put the undead Sparks at the very back and just keep him alive for as long as physically possible, then this should be done within seconds. Instead, he's going for Gibbs and going for fights and hiding behind containers where he can't be revived, and this is looking really sloppy right now from MVP.
And it's a hero turret. Doing a lot of work there, but it looks like the team's unable to help poor little turret out. Where is Crowder? They have security.
He just needs to go for it. He doesn't need to worry
Oh,
about
but
anything.
look at that airstrike. A really good time buyer.
It was a really good time, to be fair.
It pushed him back. Crowder has to run all the way down, and that's
But
a
he's
few extra
fighting
seconds.
again. He just needs to repair. Getting himself gibbed out. This is
And I mean, v56 is like dug deep. They butchered that first hold, but they really threw it together here, and they've stopped it. You know, we're going on almost 8-9 minutes coming up on the just a second stage hold here before the halfway point.
again. I say this in almost every cast that I do. It always comes up eventually, but this is really just poor engineer play, unfortunately. I mean, they've got into positions constantly. Like, look, right now, where this Fragger and the Sparks is getting the repair on. The Sparks was repairing long enough to finish this if it was an engineer, but the engineer Crowder is running in first every single time, focusing on kills and not the EV. And all they need to do is move it one step forward, and then they get the forward spawn. Defenders get the further back spawn.
Ooh, that's a
and
big
the
win.
victory comes through.
Yeah,
Because
he absolutely
Panda
had
could
the
go for that
pressure.
spawn camp, but he went for the repair. And there it is
Oh.
again.
Oh,
The
and then
big
it gets
drop.
skipped out as well. Oh my dilly dallies, that is crazy.
Good
What
gravy.
a brilliant save from Anga, and it looks like the defenders are going to get back into position. This must be so
And
frustrating
you know
for the
what's
guys
coming
over
up
at
now is
MVP.
another airstrike. It's about that time where we have another one up. Who threw that one? Oh, it was an offensive one. I don't know if that was the best time to use
It
it,
doesn't
but
really make a difference because as soon as this EV is repaired, like providing they get one step forward, then it's going to be repaired again instantly the next time anyway. So I understand what he's trying to do. He's just trying to make sure that the
That's the
engineer gets
NG.
constantly gibbed. Croda's finally on it. Looks like it may be the time where he actually manages to make this work. If he did this 5 minutes ago, he would have actually made it work. And he stops again. It's silly little plays like this, Croda. Come on, dude. Watch this back. Understand your mistakes, and let's not see you make any more in future.
I mean, they made up a ton of time.
Oh,
And
so much.
MVP was there before too on against Tag. They just can't get that last stage of the first half of the push done because it's just not organized in the area of defend your NG, let them build, and get on to the next point.
Like progression is starting to happen now. We've got Croda just sat in that MG turret, just slowly walking the EV forward, and really it's just around the rest of the attackers, just trying to hold back the defenders as much as possible.
There's a nice
That's
airstrike.
a great airstrike. Is it actually going to go off? I think it's actually
Yeah.
going to hit the thing on top.
Whoa, what?
Oh, that is so unlucky. There's a slight bit of angle on there. I've actually said this a few times about Bridge, but I would like to see this little piece of geometry in the sky removed. I think it makes the airstrikes fairly unreliable and feel a little bit unlucky sometimes. But that said,
I actually did not know about that thing being up there.
yeah,
I didn't
it's
either.
such
I'm
a
looking
pain
at it
in the
right now on
backside.
free look.
And
like-
that actually cost them the,
Yeah,
the
it
push.
did.
So that's a real shame. I mean, that was a perfect airstrike. I mean, that's a long pass, and it was horizontal across it rather than
Yeah.
over the top. So, I mean...
It's definitely going to go
luck.
down. And actually, the attackers have got a little bit of momentum trying to get into here. The defenders are also in here, so it doesn't look like they're going to actually be able to grab this objective the first time round. But we are seeing Tal in a decent position right now, managing to take out a couple of the engineers, a couple of the medics. And really, are we just going to see a snatch and run? He must be running
They're
short
looking
on
for
ammo.
it.
Snatch and run's coming out. He is actually going to be able to escape with this. Now, realistically, we should see the rest of the attackers try and hold positions in here. Don't try and defend the person running the objective because it's fairly safe. It's really about managing to get that momentum. And there we go. Croda's going to grab the second one. And this is the kind of play that I was expecting to see all the way through from these MVP guys. But obviously, a little bit of a mental block on that middle objective kind of really cost them. But this should be the end of the game right there. And they really picked it up on that last objective, only taking them like a minute and a half. But that second hold was really brutal, really brutal. And I think that's the guys over at v56 have really given themselves a lot of time to play with on that middle objective.
You know, that was really well done, and I'm not sure if it was on purpose or it was luck that he delivered on the garage side first, so that when the second objective came out and the enemy team came chasing through garage, he was delivering on the safe side.
Yeah, it was definitely well played out all the way through that final objective. As soon as they actually got the EV repaired, things went fairly smoothly for them. Sure, they were saved by the airstrike gods blocking out that airstrike, but still, it wasn't like even if the airstrike did manage to actually connect with the EV, that they weren't in a decent enough position to get the repair straight on. So overall, it was a really good push from the attackers, the guys over at MVP, apart from that barricade hold, which was fairly abysmal, and it'd be sad to see them lose out because of that mistake, because of the mistakes that they made there. But it's looking like it's something that is possible to happen. So going on to this second half, I'm actually going to be following from Panda. It looks like they're going to do fairly similar setup to what we saw MVP do on their first attack. They've actually got a few players up onto the bridge, a few grenades coming out, just spamming it up there to try and dislodge any players that are hanging around up there, and the positions are taken.
And I mean, this is all coming down to MVP holding onto this, and they can work themselves back into the top four. There's a chance, depending on how the wins fall out, but it looks like this first defense is really falling apart.
It's gone. It's done. And what we're actually seeing is Panda playing his position a little bit better than what we've seen Crowder do, and just prioritize that repair instantly. He'll let people shoot at him. He doesn't mind. Just wants to try and stay alive.
You gotta capitalize on that drop.
Oh, just repair. You're doing it, mate. You're doing it. You know what you're doing, son. There we go, and he gets it started.
The suicidal rebuild. That's what Pixel likes. Just die on it.
Exactly, die on it. It doesn't matter. You're going to respawn. Like, just get it done as much as possible. Like, if you can get it to a position where it's just tappable. We've seen it so many times in this cup already today, where an engineer's suicided on something and just left it with a tiny pip of repair or build or diffuse left. And then anybody can just basically jump on it and actually finish it off,
Pixel,
and you get
should
that
see
progression.
the EV's not moving. Look, they're wasting time. You should call them out on it.
I would
30
normally
seconds.
do that, but the barricade is up anyway now, so they're going to have to try and put a bit of damage onto that. But yeah, they should have kept it moving at all times. And I really like the idea that they're going to keep these sparks on the EV, because leaving the sparks means that you can actually still get some repairs, some revives off from a distance, and you can actually try and get your engineer into that generator room and actually cause some damage to the generator, or even plant the C4 down. Crowder's going to get taken out by sparks on a long spawn as
no
well.
less, too. I mean, I feel like that was his job to go die, but I mean, there's that airstrike. I think that's actually going
It's
to
a
be
good
clean.
one. It's a decent one. It's not going to do enough, but
Just a little short, though. But that is a good stop here. It does give them time for somebody to switch out and maybe have something to bomb it down. Is there a nader? No,
Got a
Crowder
nader.
with sniper.
on Aaron, we've got the nader on the attack, so we're just going to see him hopefully just focus on actually getting this down. This is something that we didn't see the guys over at MVP doing. This nader doesn't want to fight. He wants to wait until all these nades are up, and he's just going to keep throwing them in there as much as possible. And I'm expecting to see this go down fairly sharpish. We've already seen a lot of damage onto the generator. It's starting to change color. It's starting to show its damage, and I reckon it's only a
This is
couple
how
of
you really
grenades.
take care of that generator. You just
Oh,
set
yeah,
it up,
completely.
you siege, and you just wait. You know, you don't kill, you don't push in. You just kind of defend your nader, who becomes your VIP on your team. And
I like
sometimes you pull off the double flip.
I like seeing this. The defenders are taking out the EV with just mass bullets. They just took it down from like a third health just with bullets alone, which is giving them a bit of a hold if this generator goes down, and it's going to go down. Let's be clear, like 1 or 2 grenades and it's gone. So right now MVP are not looking like they're in the best position, but they're definitely trying to set up for a longer hold like they had done to them
I don't know if you saw it there, but Crow actually picked the nader, who is the MVP of v56 right now, needing to be the one to toss the bombs, but he got the headshot pick and put him to spawn.
Seeing some more aggressive airstrikes coming in. It's not going to pick off anybody this time. But oh, he does take a shot to the face, but Sparks versus Sparks, the revives are just too fast. Look at the state of those grenades. They're filthy grenades straight over. Unfortunately missing, but you might get a couple of picks.
Kenna and Koji, if you see the two of them, they're the ones who are stopping this nader from trying to make the big plays. They've got to keep those two up on that side over there. You see Undead diving in.
I want to see Anger just throw his grenade on top of it now. It is that close to completion, and there we go. It's a couple of bullets away right now, I think. It's close.
I think that should be enough. I mean,
I think what they're waiting for is to actually get the EV repaired before taking it down. Because if they can actually force the defenders to keep trying to defend it, then they're going to be pulling them out of position. So it's actually quite a smart play. And there we go. This should go down now.
Yeah, they already have the Inchi on it, so they're just investing everything into blowing it up. And there
There
you
we
go.
go.
Forward spawn moves. So a much better time, but this isn't an unrealistic hold. 6 minutes. That's not a lot of time to get through. You know, a few good airstrikes, a few good denies, and you can make up that time really quick.
Well, let's be honest, right? So stopping the EV from actually getting to this destination is fairly difficult, right? It's not going to really be held here.
There's one stop right here, I think.
Nope.
Half stop.
But what we're going to actually really be watching out for now is not how if they can stop the EV from reaching its destination, because that's not going to happen in my eyes. What we need to do is see the defenders realize when it's not going to happen, and then realize when they need to fall back and actually do a hold on the final objective. I think it's all going to be about momentum here. If the defenders can actually fall back at the right time,
I hope Canna
they can
switches
still
to
do it.
nader here. A nader would be so much faster because he already used his airstrike.
Can we get one more one more disable on that EV, though. It's so low. Can they buy him just a little more time?
The defenders can't do it. They need to fall back.
They botched it. A grenade
It's too late.
shot
Fall
towards
back.
it and they missed.
Oh, and look what we've got. We've got a sneaky play right now coming out from Aaron, who's actually about to go in there straight away. Take it uncontested. He's going to be able to pull it back through the courtyard. or even
Koji,
go
no!
straight.
Well, he tapped it.
Oh, and there we go. This is exactly what we was waiting for. Crowder might be able to save it. He does see the actual player there. But he does get taken out. The defenders are getting into a position where, are they going to try and contest for it? They're going to contest for it. If they contest for it, they're going to lose the second objective as well.
Don't throw the airstrike. Oh no, he aborted it twice. That's 2 abortions. They still haven't started delivering yet. I mean, they're giving time back. Oh, but Aaron making the right play and just holding on to it. The pixel way, die for it.
MVP is going to lose this. MVP are definitely going to lose this. You've got 2 people on that point. 11 seconds left before they get any reinforcements. There we go. It's down. It's done. And there we take it. Like, unless somebody doesn't know how to deliver the objective, it is already done. We're actually going to see
Kana's already
v56
walked
take
out.
it out over MVP. And it was all about that second objective. It was that secondary objective. It was all about the barricade. If the barricade never happened, we would have actually seen MVP take this most likely. But a few mistakes has really cost them. And we actually even saw one of the defenders just instantly quit. I think the frustrations kicked in.
Yeah, I kind of feels like a repeat of MVP on the second stage against Tag, even though Tag held first for an Eon. I mean, it's just to be in that position again, make the same mistakes, and just not being able to defend that engineer, which is what it all boiled down to. I think v56 have secured their spot in the top 4 now, without any other major matchups coming against them. I mean, there could be 1 or 2 more, but I think they've pretty much played the other big teams, and I think we'll see them in the finals next weekend, provided no major upsets happen.
Like, honestly, on that first half, I honestly thought it was going to be MVPs after the first objective. And then when you see the final objective being taken in a minute as well, that always fills you with confidence. But on the defense, they didn't really do anything wrong, right? On the defense, up until that final objective, they was doing it pretty standard. They missed a couple of airstrikes, which was unfortunate. But they didn't really do anything wrong. What it was is the attackers took down the barricade. But that's all they needed to do. And then they made sure the EV was being repaired. Like, that's the only thing which happened differently. MVP defended fine, apart from that final objective, which I honestly believe they should have fell back for, rather than trying to stop the EV. But I don't think we're going to save them. I just think that on the day, the attack from MVP, especially on that secondary objective, the barricade, was a little bit weak. And it certainly cost them, but it was definitely a very good match from both teams. We saw the first objective taken very quickly and the final objective taken very quickly. Just all about the secondaries.